Think like Tesla.
Welcome to Think Like Tesla. My name is Micah, and I'm taking a break from the educational series here to reach out to you guys. I need your help. In this podcast and in my life, I have too many things I want to do. Take a look at these two baskets. These are my projects that I have in place, things that I want to get to someday. I have an increasing number of sticky notes attached to the sides just to keep track of what's in these boxes. I see something and I think that would be a really cool thing to try, and maybe even start to procure some of the items I need, and then it sits there. There's so many things to do. There's so many demands on our time these days. So help me. Let me know if any of these things look interesting to you. What would you like to see? What would bring you back to this channel? Now, besides these things, there's some bigger projects I have in the works too. So I have a Microbit X, which is a ham radio. I'll be showing more of that on this channel. I have a project, I have all the parts at least, to build an isolated 250 volt AC power supply. That'll come in handy for a lot of Tesla experiments. I have to get a working 3D printer. More on this in a bit. I have a 2D plotter I need to get working. I want to build a handheld radio telescope, kind of like the ones that these guys made, except closer to a real-time display. I'd like to recreate that levitating light that was popular a couple years back, just to have mastered the technology. I'd like to do their levitating clock too. Very interesting. It can hold that marble horizontally or vertically. I'd like to look into some of these cheap high voltage supplies on eBay, take them apart, depot them, reverse engineer them, show them what's going on. I'd like to do some experiments around magnetics too, and seeing whether I can make an electromagnet repel ferromagnetic materials. And I have a bunch of repairs I want to do too. I have a whole box full of things. I have a plasma ball in particular that some dunderhead plugged into a voltage. It's supposed to run on USB voltage. Someone plugged it into a laptop supply, 18, 19 volts. Fried a bunch of the circuits. Anyway, take a look at this. Please comment below. Let me know. What would you like to see? What should I focus on? Speaking of 3D printers, here's my first one. It's a Monoprice Select Mini. There's been quite a few modifications made to this. As you can see in the photo here, it's got a new print head, new connectors that are detachable on the print head. It's got a bigger fan. It's got a 3D printed shroud for the fan. Looking at the bed here, you can see it's got rerouted wiring through the back. Internally, to provide the power needed for these two heating elements, which are in parallel and can draw up to 11 amps at full load, there's a MOSFET that provides that power. So that's a modification. And I've also replaced the main board and added a fan, a cooling fan to the main board. So that's a lot of modifications. And what this darned thing has started doing is randomly switching off. Now, you'd think it might be due to the current load. You draw too much current and then the voltage from the power supply dips, and that makes the whole thing flip off and then on again. But no, I've seen that happen even when the system is not under any load at all, when there's no heating elements on. It just blinks off and then on again. So that kind of thing is very difficult to debug. You have to catch it in the act, and it's not really obvious what the thing causing it might be. Maybe it's just the main board is shot, maybe something else is going on. It might take some work to troubleshoot that. So that's one of my projects that I'm looking at. If you have any ideas, let me know in the comments.
Teslanomicon.
Today's recommendation is not a book at all, but a short YouTube series, Nikola, Tesla, and the End of the World. If you're a fan of Tesla, and if you're here, you probably are, you'll like this. It's got time travel, it's got Nikola Tesla coming to the present and going through the fish out of water. Good stuff. The actress who plays scientist Sophie is great. The best and worst thing simultaneously about this is that the episodes are really short. If you go into this thinking of these as episode previews more than episode, you'll probably be happier. Now, they do have an announcement out that they are working on a season 2. It'll be interesting to see what they come up with next, if they have the fan interest and support to keep going. So keep an eye on this space. Help me out here. Help other people find out about this. Like and subscribe. Tell your friends about it. Check out my Instagram, Tesla Chronicle. Thanks a lot, and see you on the next one.